250 years ago, a bold idea took flight. The belief that people, driven by courage and curiosity, could shape their own destiny. From land to sea and eventually to the skies, that spirit of exploration has defined America. Here in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, the birthplace of powered flight, the legacy of exploration lives on not only in history books, but in the names of our streets. Each one honors a pioneer whose courage helped move humanity forward. Long before engines roared and wings lifted from sand, this land was shaped by wind and water, and by people who learned to live with both. The Outer Banks are not fixed ground. They shift and reform with every storm and tide. To survive here required adaptability, patience, and courage. The same traits that would later define explorers and aviators. This fragile strip of sand would one day change the world, but first, it would test everyone who came before. For thousands of years, Algonquian-speaking peoples lived along North Carolina's coasts, navigating these waters with deep knowledge of wind, tide, and season. The name Kitty Hawk most likely derived its name from the Algonquian Native American word Chickahawk, which appears on maps as early as 1738 and is believed to mean a place to hunt geese. They were the first navigators here, mastering a demanding environment through observation and experience. Their story is the first chapter in Kitty Hawk's legacy of exploration. Before flight conquered the skies, mastery of the seas shaped the New World. In 1718, Lieutenant Robert Maynard of the Royal Navy became a legend by ending the reign of history's most feared pirate, Blackbeard. Departing from Hampton, Virginia, Maynard pursued the pirate to Ocracoke Inlet, just off North Carolina's coast. Maynard concealed his crew below deck, luring Blackbeard into a deadly mistake. When the pirate boarded, the hidden sailors surged upward. A brutal duel followed, ending with Blackbeard's defeat. His story reminds us that courage has long defined survival and success on these shores. The waters off the Outer Banks will become known as the graveyard of the Atlantic, a place where shifting shoals and violent storms claimed hundreds of ships. In response, coastal communities like Kitty Hawk became places of resilience and service. The United States Life-Saving Service established stations along the coast, staffed by surfmen who launched boats into towering waves to rescue strangers they would never meet. Their creed was simple: you have to go out, but you don't have to come back. This culture of quiet bravery became part of Kitty Hawk's identity. At the dawn of the 20th century, Wilbur and Orville Wright were determined to solve a problem no one had mastered: controlled, powered flight. They needed steady winds, soft landing surfaces, isolation, and supportive locals. Kitty Hawk offered all of it. The consistent coastal winds provided lift, the sand dunes softened crashes, and the small community welcomed the brothers with quiet respect and practical help. Here, failure was not an ending. It was part of the process. On December 17, 1903, in freezing winds near Kill Devil Hills, the Wright brothers achieved what the world had never seen. In 4 brief flights, humanity left the ground under its own power. The longest lasted just 59 seconds. It traveled 852 feet. But in that moment, the future changed forever. Kitty Hawk became synonymous with the birth of flight. As the world entered the age of aviation, daring moved from the sea to the sky. Frank Hawks was among America's earliest aviation pioneers, serving in the United States Army during World War I and pushing the limits of speed, skill, and endurance. During the 1920s and 1930s, Hawks became known as one of the fastest airmen in the world, thrilling crowds and redefining what pilots and aircraft could achieve. He completed groundbreaking in-flight refueling demonstrations, proving airplanes could remain airborne longer than ever imagined. And in a quiet moment of history, Hawks gave a young woman named Amelia Earhart her first airplane ride, helping ignite a passion that would inspire generations. In Kitty Hawk, where flight was born, Hawks' legacy reminds us that innovation often begins with mentorship and daring. Few Americans carried exploration to more extreme frontiers than Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd, a descendant of Virginia's first families, including John Rolfe and Pocahontas. Byrd carried a legacy of exploration into the modern age. As a United States Navy officer, Byrd became a pioneering aviator and polar explorer. organizing massive expeditions in the harshest environments on Earth. He claimed the first flights over both the North Pole and the South Pole, proving aircraft could reach even the planet's most unforgiving terrain. Byrd's expeditions reshaped scientific exploration and expanded America's reach, not through conquest, but discovery. In 1909, one man dared to cross what many believed was impossible. French aviator Louis Blériot set out to fly across the English Channel in a heavier-than-air aircraft. Driven by a 1,000-pound prize offered by the London Daily Mail, Blériot pressed forward after rivals failed. In just 37 minutes, he crossed the Channel, becoming an international celebrity overnight. Blériot went on to build more than 800 aircraft of his Type 11 design. When flaws emerged, he corrected them personally, earning trust and respect. Blériot's story is one of persistence, of learning, improving, and daring to try again. Not all pioneers flew airplanes. Dr. Hugo Echner, a German aeronautical engineer, commanded the great rigid airship Graf Zeppelin, ushering in a new era of long-distance flight. After World War I, treaties restricted Germany from building transatlantic airships. Echner responded not with defiance, but diplomacy. He helped create an airship for the United States Navy, the LZ-126, later named the USS Los Angeles, which became the longest-serving rigid airship in United States naval history. Under Echner's leadership, the Graf Zeppelin achieved historic firsts. The first intercontinental passenger airship flight, the first and only airship flight around the world, and pioneering Arctic expeditions. His work proved cooperation between nations could lift humanity higher. Flight changed the world, and it changed Kitty Hawk. What was once a quiet coastal village became a place known across the globe. As the town grew, its streets were named to honor those who shared the same spirit of courage and discovery. Each name became a tribute, each sign a reminder. From native navigators to lifesavers, from pirate hunters to polar explorers, from fragile gliders to global flight, Kitty Hawk tells a uniquely American story. It is a story of resilience and risk, of failure and persistence, of ordinary people who dared to believe the horizon was not the end. As America marks 250 years, Kitty Hawk stands as a living tribute to that belief. These streets do more than guide us home. They guide us back to the courage that built a nation and carried it into the sky.